Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. King Lewin is flying with his Royal Pegasus support as they face off against Norsca. We have Mofet leading the Bretonnian forces, and F&G is leading Norsca. For the Bretonnians, we do have a front line of peasant mobs. We have 5 of those, pretty standard front line chaff unit. Then we have some men at arms mixed in. We just have a couple of those. And then we have the ranged firepower of the peasant bowmen. So we do have some fire arrows for any of the regenerating units, such as skin wolves, and then we do have 2 poxes as well to get that poison effect onto multiple targets. Very good stuff there. For the backline mobility, we do have some Grail Guardians, which are a very heavy elite cav unit. Not so much a shot cav, but they do well in sustained combat as well. They do magic damage as well, and they are running with the Damsel of Life, who is going to be running with Earthblood and Regrowth, and she's also going to be providing a nice little bit of magic damage support in the name of the Aura of the Lady, so giving a little bit of magic resistance, which will be good against the Fimir, who do magic damage themselves. For the Air Force, we do have the Royal Pegasus Knights and a couple of regular Pegasus Knights on the far flank. They are both anti-large units and good flyers. They are a little bit of a glass cannon, but we'll see how they fare. We also have King Lewin leading the forces. He's going to be bringing a lot of stuff. So he is going to be bringing the Blood Son of Bretonnia. He has the Foe Seeker, Stand Your Ground, the Lion Shield, and the Sword of Corone, which is a good AoE debuff surrounded around himself. So yeah, we'll see how the Royal Pegasus Knights and Pegasus Knights do. The Norskins don't have any Javs to really deal with them, but they do have some Horsemen. So yeah, for the rest of the Norskins though, we do have a front line of, we have some Marauder Spearmen actually helping to deal with some of the cav that Bretonnians will obviously be bringing. We have a couple of Marauders on the far flanks, and then the center lines are going to be 3 Marauder Berserkers to really punch through that peasant rush. Now we do have some Fimir Warriors as well, both with great weapons. They do excellent work against Bretonnian cavalry. That Damsel of Life will actually help kind of keep those mobility units in play against them, as they do have a little bit of magic resist, but they will cut right through that physical resist that the Bretonnian elite cav have with their magic damage otherwise. We also have Throg is leading the forces with Stand or Die and the Wintertooth Crown, providing unbreakable for the units surrounding him. The mobility department is going to be 3 horsemen and some Norscan warhounds on the 2 far flanks, and that will wrap things up. And there's also the Fimir Balefine of Shadows, who is actually bringing Pit of Shades and Enfeebling Foe, with Scroll of Shielding on top of that. So the Pit of Shades will actually do a lot of damage to enemy cav, so if they can get the good cast on that, that'll be very good if they can. But let's get this battle going as the front lines are starting to approach. The Bretonnians are a little bit in the trees for some of their missile units, so they will be a little bit obstructed. But here are the Pegasus Knights flying in. These horsemen are not going to have the damage that they need to quickly deal with these Pegasus Knights, but they should be able to at least kite away from them, at least initially. Now these peasants are just pretty much instantly breaking across the line. These Berserkers doing so much work. And the Royal Pegasus Knights and the Grail Guardians haven't really gotten into the backline just quickly enough to really punish that. A nice charge by the Grail Guardians into these Berserkers, and here come the Royal Pegasus Knights getting on top of the Fimir Warriors. A little bit of a risky play. These Fimir Warriors really just need to turn and fight. This is their engagement. They really want to be getting into that, but these Royal Pegasus Knights are going to be jumping off as quickly as they can. Enfeebling Foe probably cast a little too early, as these Grail Guardians are making quick work of those Marauder Berserkers, taking essentially no damage themselves. If we swing on over into the trees, the Norskins are just cleaning up shop on these back lines. Warhounds getting into the peasant bowmen, doing a lot of good work, and here is King Lewin trying to single out this Fimir Balefine Shadows, as Throg is here to support, but here come the Fimir Warriors with great weapons and some Marauder Spearmen support, and with Throg against King Lewin, they should be able to do fairly well as long as that Fimir Balefine does stay alive. They have a ton of infantry support right here. Those Fimir Warriors pretty much just need to turn and fire against those Grail Guardians, while these other Fimir Warriors are making quick work of these Pegasus Knights, as they should. Well, of Spears kind of acting in reserve for the time being, these nice skirmish calves, as we do have a Pit of Shades going down right into the middle of this formation. doing a ton of work. I mean, it is just peasant mobs, but he's also catching some of the men-at-arms well, but it is a nice big blob of infantry that will quickly burn them away, doing some excellent work against the peasant troops. And there's plenty of infantry for the Norskins here. They're making quick work of everything else, but the Grail Guardians are also just doing a lot of work. Earthblood going on top of them, catching, I think, both of these units, the Royal Pegasus Knights and Grail Guardians, the two elite units, keeping things going. King Lewin, with his Sword of Corone popped, is kind of circling overhead, trying to save his peasant bowmen, as those Norscan Warhounds are just feasting on the backline of the Bretonnians. Norsca is taking the advantage so far. These Pegasus Knights are going to be looking to target this Fimir Balefiend, but we do have both of the Fimir Warriors really close by, so if they turn around and charge, it looks like they are a little bit forgotten at the time being, but these Pegasus Knights will do some decent work against the Fimir Balefiend. The Fimir Warriors finally do see it, and these Pegasus Knights, they need to pull out of there as they are. Didn't do as much damage as I mentioned they were hoping, as Grail Guardians charge from the trees into these Marauder Berserkers. Another Earthblood catching all of these units, getting a lot of good news, and that is an overcast as well. But here comes Throg for support, just charging the backs of these Grail Guardians, and he is going to do a ton of damage. And now these Grail Guardians are getting a little bit sandwiched with these two Spearmen also coming in, kind of pinning in a lot of their models, as they will be bleeding some of them, which will do good work. And here comes these Fimir Warriors. Having both of these Fimir Warriors with great weapons combined is going to be really hard for Bretonnians to crack. Though otherwise, some of the units, we do have some returning troops kind of in the tree line here. We see we've got just some Berserkers, but otherwise these Pegasus Knights are kind of trying to clean things up. They do have the mobility advantage, but these Marauder Horsemen are going to be firing away. I think, yeah, these Pegasus Knights can pretty much tank that and just swoop in and push them off every time they get too close. But this blob of Norskins is going to be really hard for Bretonnia to really get into. King Lewin doesn't want to be fighting Throg one-on-one. He really needs the support of his Cav, his Pegasus Knights, and the likes. So he's in turn going to be trying to pick off these isolated units. We have some Marauders, Marauder Berserkers, and I think the Pegasus Knights should be coming in to support. We do have some, which looks like they will be flying in, trying to help break these lines, as the other two Pegasus are trying to keep these Marauder Horsemen in check as best they can. Grail Guardians once again cycling through. They are still at 30 models and getting another little Earthblood to keep them topped off as these units charge in. But these, the Fimir Warriors are here to respond, and they will do quick work against even these Royal Pegasus Knights. And King Lewin, with the help of another unit of Pegasus Knights, able to peel off these Marauders and Marauder Berserkers. Looks like they'll be routing off both units. Some Men-at-Arms coming back to help assist, as balance power still in Norscan's favor, but not as much as it was earlier. Damsel of Life, nice and healthy. Not a whole lot that can really isolate her. Nothing that has mobility. I mean, if you have both of the Norscan Warhounds, it might be able to be enough to rout off the Damsel. Here are some more of the Pegasus Knights charging in, trying to break some more units, as they do break those Berserkers fully. And now Throg is very isolated here, as all of the mobility for Bretonnia is swooping on in, looking to get a nice alpha strike on him, as King Lewin butts a Pit of Shades right on top of all of these elite units from Norsca. And that was a masterful cast right there, as everything just blobs up against Throg, and that Pit of Shades doing so much damage. And here come the Fimir Warriors to help clean things up. Though Throg has taken a considerable amount of damage, that cast alone may have been worth it, as both the Norscan Warhounds and these Horsemen are getting on top of the Damsel, with that Fimir Balefiend finally getting in on her as well. So we have Pegasus Knights just routing across the board, even the Royal Pegasus Knights, and they are very low. They have 6 models left and have just slivers of HP left. The other Pegasus Knights are going, and now King Lewin is the one who is being isolated, though Throg is routing, and another hit or two from King Lewin may be enough to just break, and there goes Throg. He is shattered, but at what cost to Bretonnia? That masterful cast was just insane, with how much damage it did to all of the Pegasus Knights. And now that the Damsel of Life is also shattered from the Fimir Balefiend with the help of the Norscan Warhounds, it is pretty much just King Lewin and a few Pegasus Knights scattered about, and just a handful of Grail Guardians left trying to pick off some Marauders. It does not look good for Bretonnia at this point. as we have 2 full health Femur Warriors, and I think just the Femur Warriors themselves at this point is going to be too much, because there's no range units left for Bretonnia. You don't have any chaff units as well, so I think, yeah, 2 full health Femur Warriors are just going to be too much for King Lewin and all of the units to handle, and I think Norskins are going to be taking this match. Yeah, I mean, King Lewin, though, is doing good work against the Femur Balefiend, who is the last leadership bastion for Norsca. If he is able to break it, which I think the Norscan players wisely just going to be pulling that Femur Balefiend away from King Lewin and letting his Femur Warriors do the work with their armor-piercing anti-large, and yeah, they'll just clean up King Lewin, as it looks like army losses will be kicking in. King Lewin does rout, and that will be your match, as the Norskins will take it. Take a look at the after battle report. I mean, I think the MVP may very well be this Femur Balefiend doing an insane amount of work, but so did the Norscan Warhounds. I mean, 118, 224 kills, and 2 chevrons on these Norscan Warhounds, just cleaning up all of the peasant bowmen. Even with the mobility of all the Pegasus Knights, I think their focus may have been a little too much focused on the horsemen, and had they been focused more on protecting their bowmen, it may have been a little different story. But yeah, I think, yeah, the Femur Balefiend was he had one really good cast against a blob of infantry, but that second cast on top of all of the Pegasus Knights. I mean, I wish we could see chevrons on casters and lords, because I'm sure just that cast alone would have earned him multiple chevrons from all the damage that it did. Because he only had 52 kills, but the damage output was insane. Grail Guardians doing a lot of good work, 145 kills themselves. Even the Royal Pegasus Knife getting a couple chevrons. They were able to goon out Throg, but yeah, it was at what cost, as I mentioned earlier. But that will be our match for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.